In the bodybuilding community, the age-old question about the bench press that has brought up many points for debate is what is the best hand position for chest mass? And while I don't think anyone has ever made a definitive case, and most will say that it just boils down to personal preference and your own body structure, the main argument most people have is that a wider grip is better for pecs and that a close grip will hit the triceps harder. And that's a fair argument, as bringing the grip in closer does take the triceps through a much larger range of motion. Obviously, this means more engagement of the muscle, but in my opinion, people are also focusing on the wrong details when talking about how changing grip width affects the target muscles. To explain this in detail, I want to go over some very basic bodybuilding principles. If you followed me long enough, I'm sure you've already heard me talk about the full stretch and full contraction of a muscle. And after you've established the proper amount of total volume, sets, reps, and proper exercises, the key to growing is taking these exercises through a full range of motion, including a full stretch and full contraction, close to failure to achieve the maximum amount of muscle growth. It's only after you're training the target muscle through this full range of motion that these other variables like stabilizer muscles and loads on the bar even matter. To illustrate this, let's compare the basic barbell bench press with a standard grip to a close grip bench press. Both very basic movements that you'll find in most bodybuilding programming, and putting aside the load for a minute and focusing on the fact that we're using this movement with one goal in mind, to grow larger pecs. In a standard bench press, which is typically a wider than shoulder width grip, the range of motion is obviously limited to when the bar touches your chest. For most people, that's bringing the bar down to about the nipple level or just slightly lower. And while you also have many people who would advocate for using something like a cambered bar or a buffalo bar for even further range of motion, the difference is generally negligible and comes with the extra risk of overstretching the shoulders. So my personal stance on it is that a standard barbell press offers plenty of range of motion in the stretch position. Now at the top, a full extension of the elbow is completely locked out. This is also full range of motion, right? No, actually, this is full range of motion of the movement, but not full range of motion of the muscle. Remember, basic chest anatomy, the function of the pecs is to bring the arms across the body in a hugging motion. If you ever read Arnold's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, he gives the analogy of trying to hug a tree. This is why flies are one of the best movements if full range of motion is the focus of the chest. Now, because you're locked into the same hand grip throughout the entire movement on a wide grip bench press, it offers that full stretch at the bottom, but shows up just shy of the full contraction at the top. This is due to the fact that your hands are still so far apart. If you've never felt the difference, stand with your arms completely pressed away from your body right now, as if you have a barbell in your hand. Squeeze your pecs and notice how much of a contraction you feel. Now do the same thing, but bring your hands in closer together so that your arms are still fully pressed out in front of you, but now you have your fists touching. Squeeze them together and press. You should feel the pecs contracting much harder. This is exactly where the last part of a wide grip bench press falls short. If you look at a standard dumbbell press, which is the same movement as a flat press, except the arms can be taken through its natural range of motion, you will always see that the hands are wider at the bottom of the movement and closer at the top. It's almost like you're doing a wide grip bench press at the bottom and a close grip bench press at the lockout. This closer grip at the lockout offers that full contraction at the top, completing that full stretch and full contraction of the target muscle. Does that mean that dumbbell presses are better than barbell? In my opinion, they both come with their own pros and cons, but barbells still offer their own benefits over dumbbells. The main one being the ability to load heavier weights, and the fact that as dumbbells get heavier, so does the size of them, which can eventually shorten the range of motion depending how heavy you're lifting. So how do we take all the advantages of a dumbbell bench and apply them to a barbell press? The main way is by bringing your grip in closer. Let's put aside the tricep involvement for a minute here. Going with that closer grip and keeping the elbows in moderately will force you to bring the bar down a little bit lower on the torso. This actually creates a larger range of motion for the pecs with even less stress on the shoulders. It will also allow for a greater range of motion at the top of the movement, as the hands are traveling a much further distance throughout the entire lift. And remember, what happens at the top of a close grip press? The pecs are fully contracted due to the hands being much closer, making it one of the best variations for pec growth. The exact grip width to accomplish this full stretch and full contraction will be different for everyone depending on their own body structure. So don't always follow a standard grip width recommendation blindly. And I personally don't like to call it a close grip bench press or a wide grip bench press as a general rule of thumb. For me, the best grip width is a shoulder width grip, which is generally my staple bench press grip for pec growth. For most people, especially powerlifters, they would categorize this as a close grip bench. In addition to this close grip bench, I'll also incorporate other grips like super wide or even closer grips on other movements like incline presses or decline presses. These are all done for very specific reasons, but those are topics for another video. For pure chest development on a bench press, I encourage you to drop the weight and find that specific grip that allow you that full stretch of the pecs at the bottom and full contraction at the top. I bet you find that you get much better chest activation and greater pumps using a more narrow grip than you are currently. If you've personally found that close grip bench works better for you, comment down below with your experience. Or if you found another approach to work for your own body mechanics, let us know in the comments below. And if you want to build your physique using old school bodybuilding training principles, check out my 5-day mass gain program in the description. Alright guys, that's it for the video. If you want to see more of the best original bodybuilding content just like this, make sure to hit subscribe.